Welcome to part 99 of Ready or Not, Here I Come, January the 1st, 2025. And this will be my last part for this morning because I have to get ready for work and all. But I wanted to do something for the Lord um, before I went to work. I always love to give the Lord his dues. And certainly, if we don't make time for him when we are up and about and when we start our day, when will you honestly make time for the Lord? Because once you get so wrapped up in your lives through the day, you never give him thought, you never give him place. But, anyways, let us get on back into this Luke 22, verse 42. Saying, Father, if you be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. And there appeared an angel to him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly. And his sweat was, as it were, great drops of blood falling down to the ground. And when he rose up from prayer and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow. And said to them, Why sleep you? Rise and pray, lest you enter into temptation. And while he yet spoke, behold, a multitude. And he that was called Judas, one of the 12, went before them and drew near to Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus said to him, Judas, betray you the Son of Man with a kiss? That's a question, not a statement. He was asking him. And when they which were about him saw what would follow, they said to him, Lord, shall we smite with the sword? And one of them smote the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. Now you hear that? He cut off, not just nicked it, not just barely scraped it. He cut off his right ear. There's a lot of controversy about this particular scripture here. Let this be done with. Yes, the man's ear was cut off. This is why the swords were necessary and why Jesus told him the 2 swords was enough. Jesus was not commanding us to buy weapons to kill one another with. Y'all need to understand what was happening. It was to fulfill what needed to be done. And Jesus answered and said, Suffer you thus far? And he touched his ear and healed him. And there where it says, Suffer you thus far, that means stop, no more of this. Then Jesus said to the chief priests and captains of the temple and the elders which were come to him, Be you come out against Be you come out as a thief with swords and staves? When I was daily with you in the temple, you stretched forth no hands against me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness. Then took they him and led him and brought him into the high priest's house. And Peter followed afar off. And when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the hall, and were set down together, Peter sat down among them. But a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire, and earnestly looked upon him, and said, This man was also with him. And he denied him, saying, Woman, I know him not. Why would you deny the Lord? But let me tell you something. There are many that claim they know the Lord and that they are with him. But let me say to you, your speech betrays you. And I'm not just talking about what you say from your mouth, but your actions, your whole conversation betrays you. Who you be with is revealed in the things you do. But here it is. There's the first time so far now that Peter has denied the Lord. Now remember, he's supposed to deny him 3 times before the cock crows. And after a little while, another saw him and said, You are also of them. And Peter said, Man, I am not. And about the space of an hour after, another confidently affirmed, saying, Of a truth, this fellow also was with him, for he is a Galilean. And Peter said, Man, I know not what you say. And immediately while he yet spoke, the cock crew. And the Lord turned and looked upon Peter, and Peter remembered the word of the Lord. And he had said to him, how he had said to him, rather, Before the cock crow, you shall deny me thrice. And Peter went out and wept bitterly. The Lord is the spirit of prophecy, plus what he speaks becomes so. You're not going to change what words he has spoken. These things will come to pass, for they are purposed. But anyways, going on. And Peter went out and wept bitterly. And verse 63, the men that held Jesus mocked him and smote him. They mocked the Lord. And they smote him. Meaning they struck him. An innocent man who had done no wrong. Who had not even had gall in his mouth. And they were beating him and mocking him. Why would you hit someone who had never struck you or did any harm to you? What kind of evil person would you have to be to want to harm the innocent? Verse 64. And when they had blindfolded him, they struck him on the face and asked him, saying, Prophesy, who is who is it that smote you? And many other things blas, uh, blasphemy spoke they against him wickedly, blasphemously, rather, spoke they against him blasphemously, spoke they against him. That means wickedly they spoke against him. And as soon as it was day, the elders of the people and the chief priests and the scribes came together and led him into the council, saying, Are you the Christ? Tell us. And he said to them, If I tell you, you will not believe. And if I also asked you, you will not answer me, nor let me go. Hereafter shall the Son of Man sit on the right hand of the power of God. Then said they all, Are you then the Son of God? And he said to them, You say that I am. And they said, What need we any further witness? For we ourselves have heard of his own mouth. It didn't matter what Jesus said. And for those of you that will be accused in the days ahead, it won't matter what happened. Remember, we're living in a time frame where they can manipulate videos and things like that and make it look like you said and did things and that you were places that you were not even at. Because they have these technologies to do that, to falsify evidence against you should they want to do that. So I tell you this, why then do you sit and do nothing for the Lord? Because you're not going to change the cup which you have to drink from. It's still going to be. So why not just go ahead and go headlong and do that which is required of you by the Lord? Because you will not save your own life if it is meant for you to drink the bitter cup. Why not just go ahead and proclaim Jesus, the name above every name, to, to the world? Because we're in that time frame when these things are going to occur. So keep your heads up. Keep looking up. The Lord is nigh. This is no time to let down on what He has commanded you do. I will see you in the next part when I get a chance to get it up.